Okay guys, it was asked about what my sim rig is, so this is a quick video, one take, non-professional, me rambling on about philosophies in sim rigs and mechanical engineering. Just give you a little background, I worked on aircraft for 20 years, Air Force for 10, and corporate jets for also 10. And I'm certified in basically fix everything in the aircraft, engines, airframe, electronics, whatever. That's what I did my first 20 years of my professional life, and then the second, I am a nurse, basically a hospital nurse. But this is my rig. But first thing, it's made out of the corporation 8020.net. They basically make engineering grade aluminum profile, and they have a great system. I'll include links on the description, and they provide all the engineering data. They have an app where you can look at what your loads are and what you can use. And using the app and using the engineering information they provide, I realized that all I needed was a 3060. I didn't need a 4080 or anything bigger for aluminum profile. I could just use 3060 to keep the cost down, because the major cost is the aluminum profile, nothing else. Okay, so why 3060? One was the engineering data. The second is gussets. This gusset, you can see, has 4 bolts to hold the 2 pieces together. This gusset and this gusset. This gusset's on for edge to edge. So this is 2 bolts on each side. It's basically, we're trying to distribute the torque or the forces to basically the floor, this floor frame. The floor frame, which is basically just a big box, is like a wing spar. All forces go into the ground through the ring spar, or this box. It's sitting on a high quality yoga mat. Basically, that's my foundation. If you think about buildings, you know that they always prepare the foundation before they lay down concrete or whatever they're going to have the forces of the building sitting on. So that's a yoga mat. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of basically lots of screws, basically like an aircraft. Everything's riveted together, and this is the number one mistake I think commercial sim rigs do. That is the nut. It's like 20 cents, maybe 30 cents now, but everything is connected through this nut. I can point out everything is connected to this nut. You don't need to roll in nuts. You just need a nut. Don't make it more complicated than it is. Almost every bolt is an M6-14, 14 millimeters long, I believe. So you're minimizing the amount of hardware you're buying. Basically, you're trying to minimize your logistics and building it. I can literally point to everything that's not using this screw, or M614, and that is, if you see the depth of this one compared to the depth of this one, so this one needs a 12, and this one needs a 14. Okay. The other thing is this gusset right here uses an M8. I don't know what the length, but this is a different one. But every single last piece is the M614. Okay, and just to show that my YouTube channel is, performance engineering, and I do it in real life. This is my Race Logic Xbox video. This provides the video for the Motec. This is my Motec, the L20, a real Motec dialoguer. This is what I use in the Miata. So I do this stuff in real life. Okay, so let's talk about this rig. Okay, first thing we talked about is basically making your foundation. It's basically just a big square, okay? And that's where all your forces from your brake pedal to your pelvis bone is going to be going through this frame. So you got to make sure this frame is straight and level and square, which is easy to do with the gussets. Then let's go from forward to rear. Okay, this is I'm sure everybody knows, it's a Thrustmaster. It's a pro version, I forget what. It's been on the market for forever. I like this one because it's hanging pedals, which by mechanics, I highly am into load cells and trying to do repeatability, because I do endurance racing. I do right now I'm doing the Ferrari Challenge thing where I do an hour and a half stint, and so repeatability is crucial for me. So I use the load cell, and I have a Rick Motec mod. This is the load cell mod. Love it. Can't find anything better. There's only one other corporation I think that does you can get the Tillett or the Willwood brake pedals that are hanging, but there's another company that does from Italy. I forget what their name is, but I love hanging pedals for repeatability. Okay, so these are, I think it's 80 pounds for full 100%. But so the forces are going that way, forward, okay? So the forces are going through these blocks. These are solid aluminum blocks into this aluminum profile that is situated this way because it's stiffer along this axis, which is going butted up against this one. Yeah. And so these gussets are basically just holding in place. The actual force is face to face going to this one, okay? So this force is going that way, okay? So we have basically tension and compression. So compression on this side and tension on this side. But you can see I have two gussets here and two gussets here. So this is basically as much gussets as I can get. So get these forces into the frame, the foundation, okay? So let's go look at the seat. Now, original design for this seat was I was going to use a Recaro actual racing seat. That's why I have this OMP actual racing frame, because it had all these holes I could use to adjust it. But to mock this up, I think that this is a Tillett, which they make professional racing karting seats from England, and this is one that fits my pelvic bone from side to side. This thing fits me so well that it actually creates a suction when I get out. And originally I was just going to use this as a mock-up, and I love it so much. I can do a 3-hour stint and be perfectly fine, comfortable, and everything's always repeatable. Okay, so I push on the brake pedal, and that creates a force going that way. Okay, but that force has got to be communicated through my pelvic bones. So if you see, I got, this is mounted here. So this creates a pocket for my pelvic bones so I don't slide. This is actually ramped up a little bit so I don't slide back and forth. And you can see that it's on this one. Now originally, this was designed as just as a mock-up. This was not how I was going to originally do it, but it works really, really well. And so I haven't changed it. This seat's only like 60 bucks instead of, I don't know, $300-400 for the Recaro. I think it's even more than that, but I think it's like $600. But anyways, I haven't looked into it because I love this seat. It fits me perfectly, just like an LMP1 or LMP2 car, where they have the little seat inserts. But anyways, the main forces are going through here, through here. This is bad because I have these in shear, where you want to have it more compression or tension. But these bolts are in shear, but you can see how tight I had to make them. But they work right now. I'm gonna redesign, since I like this seat, I'm gonna redesign this whole thing so it uses aluminum profile, but it's working for now. But that forces go through, and so those forces go to this frame, which is bolted to this, and then there's, let's see, you can see the gusset right there. Okay, so that forces, and this is also sitting face to face. Okay, so this gusset goes to this aluminum profile. Now, this aluminum profile is gusseted to this frame, the foundation to this gusset, and then these two gussets also. You can see it, lots and lots of gussets. That's how an aircraft gets its strength is through rivets and doing gussets and making sure everything has a way to go through. The forces goes through to the wing spar. Basically, this is like a wing spar. So the back end, the front end basically mimics the back end. And then I mounted the seat just like how a professional go-kart would be. So you have these screws, then you have the lateral screws, and then you have the forward screws. This thing is solid. It does not move. I could put 200 pounds of force on that brake pedal. Basically leg press it and nothing creaks, nothing moves. So it's very, very repeatable. Okay, so now let's go to steering. Now I have the Fanatec or Fanatic or whatever you pronounce it. This is DD2. It has the high torque key in. I run it at high torque and usually around 60%. So this thing, so you got steering forces. Now, how do steering forces get into the foundation or the spar? Now this motor has two bolts on each side here, and then underneath, I really can't see them, but there's 5. 2 in the rear and 3 in the front. Oh, there you go. There you can see them. Okay. Now to get these gussets to line up with this, the holes in here, I had to put this profile vertically, but it's it's solid. There's 5 on to here, and then let's see, 4, 8, let's see, 16, 18 bolts connecting these brackets to this profile, okay? This profile is connected to this profile, again, face to face. These things just basically hold it from sliding up and down. Okay, and then just like how this gusset system is, this gusset system is. So there is literally no flex forward and aft, side to side. It's basically built a big square, and then heavily gusseted forward and aft. Now, this aluminum profile would torque. Okay, this is a moment or an arm. So the torque forces, because of this distance, would create a twisting moment on this aluminum profile. Okay, to solve that, twisting forces travel down a piece of metal or whatever in 45 degrees, just like a candy cane. If you go read up on engineering, the twisting forces go 45 degrees. Okay, so to stiffen this piece up in torsion is basically, I put this piece in, and you can see this plate. So this piece is connected to the vertical through this gusset. Right on the other side is this gusset, and this is basically a box, and then heavily gusseted. So this steering can't go forward and back, side to side, or twist. There's literally no flex whatsoever. And the reason I had to put in front and not in the rear is I wanted this vertical and this space I wanted this vertical to be as far forward as possible. So that meant that this piece had to be mounted on the front side of this and not the rear. And then this gusset connects these two. Okay, so that's that. Let's see here. That's basically the sim rig. Again, it's all made up of these two components. You don't need anything more than these two components. Every screw is torqued to 5 foot-pounds per the engineering data from 8020. That means a lot just to equalize all of the torquing, make sure everything stays square. And since I have you, I'll talk a little bit about the actual rig. I picked this DD2. It's not a financial thing. I read up on the specs of the different direct drive reels, and then I actually put a torque wrench on a vise and tested what it felt like with the torque. And for me personally, I wanted to have the high torque, so it's what's the word? Dynamic range, basically. So from what my normal torque inputs would be, I have increased dynamic range when something happens. And so I can sense it. So that's why I picked this. This is a Cube Control formula. This is the older version. They have a newer version. And I love this thing because the encoders. So I'm a VR. You can see there's no screen whatsoever. So I'm a VR racer. And so I basically don't see any of this. I'm playing blind, basically. So I needed to have all the switches and encoders. So just to go through the steering wheel, this is ignition. You need that dedicated for pit stops and ACC. That's the starter. Then this is the left turn signal. If you're playing multi-class and you're having people pass you, or you're passing other people, having turn signals is really important. This is for the MFT. This is for the secondary display, the race logic that they have in the game. This is for that one. This is brake bias. Forward goes, forward and aft. This is ABS amount. This is the fuel map. So sometimes you just need to eke out some fuel at the last couple laps of the endurance race, and so you can adjust it there. This traction and this traction are the same because I found that I was using adjusting traction control too much to have it here to move my fan, so I made this one a traction control also. And then this, in like the Ferraris, they have 2 levels of traction control, so that's the other one. This is for adjusting the clutch plate, and I never use clutches because I'm ACC, but that's that. Here's your funky switch, and because this knob is separated from all the other ones and smaller, I use this one for adjusting the torque amount. So when I'm doing an 1.5-hour stint, I get fatigued, and so I'll slightly lower the torque as the race goes on. So that's your flasher, very important when you're doing multi-class. Turn signal, this is my delta time. So this runs cycles through the screens of the secondary display, the race logic. It's a starter, enter, cancel, and this is the exit button. Basically these 3 or 4 running the game. This cycles through the different windshield wiper modes that cycles through the different speeds. I like having this because as the rain starts going away, I can lessen this and I can see very easily when the rain's stopped or when the rain's increasing. Cycling through the different speeds is very important. This button is a reset for the VR, basically if the VR screws up a little bit and I need to recenter it, that's what this button is for. When I started doing streaming, I got tired of that noise. Okay, so this is basically a piece of fabric that you get with glasses. It's basically a high density fabric. It takes away the clanking. I mean, you still hear it, but it's not that. Okay, just everyday Fanatec mount. This is my only steering wheel. I never remove it, so just need something to make this thing happy. Okay, with VR, there's my VR goggles. It gets hot, and when your face gets hot, it gets steams up the screens, so you need to have a fan. I like this Dyson fan because it's relatively quiet. It has no moving parts. It doesn't. It just works well. and it's literally just balancing on this. This rig has so little flex, or doesn't move at all, that this fan just balances on this piece of profile. Doesn't move, doesn't give me any troubles. I use, these are actually Djing headsets. Dona. Yeah, let me focus on this. Vidona Crossfade M100s. I like them because they're metal. They have a replaceable common non. Hang on, let me put this down. The cord is just. Let's see here. The cord is a normal cord, and so you can just replace the cords as you need to. It should last me practically forever, and I like it because they have really good bass response. That they're meant for DJing and, you know, dance music and that kind of stuff. But they make make the engine sound good because of the bass response. This is a Razer Wolverine Ultimate. I do play video games every once in a while, but what I really like about this thing is I can, because again, I'm playing blind when I'm in VR, and so I can adjust the volume, I can mute. Basically this audio panel right here is reason why I'm using this, is I can adjust my audio preferences just very easily, being blind in VR. Let's see here. Oh, VR. That's one camera. That's the next camera. And that's the third camera. And this is that's my battery backup, basically. So if power goes out, my computer doesn't get screwed up. Just from experience, get battery backup, run computer through it. This is the original CV1 Oculus I have custom lenses in it because I wear glasses, very important. I still use this thing because I value quality over quantity. In other words, I value the quality of the image I'm getting over resolution, and that with oversampling and really high anti-aliasing, or not aliasing, oversampling and really high quality anti-aliasing, everything stays very, very crisp and not mushy. I can see my details in the track, and I can use that as basically landmarks. So having a good high quality image that stays at 90 frames per second, does not deviate from 90 frames per second, allows me to do 3 hours and have absolutely no physical effects. I think until graphics cards get even better, I'm going to stick with this lower resolution VR headset. Here's my car, and I just moved here, so yep, I don't have the desk that usually goes here. That's going to be coming in June. That's just there. As you notice, can't see it from the steering rig. Okay, and so on the PC. PC stays out here because it's running basically 600 watts through it, which makes it a space heater. As you can see, it's all air cooled. I don't like water cooling. I'm an electronics guy for 20 years. I don't mix water with electronics. I don't care what you say. It's not going to last. You know, I don't want to do maintenance, water maintenance on my PC. So I stay away from water. Because it just came up available, I got a 3880 Ti. It's overpowered for what I need. I buy a new graphics card every 3 years, regardless. This is a 3-year cycle. That's what I budget for. And I buy whatever is quote unquote the best at the time. I'm a huge EVGA graphics card fan. I've been using them for decades and won't use any other manufacturer because of the warranty, basically. I could take off this and clean this heatsink and it won't void the warranty. That's the major reason why I use EVGA, and I also like overclocking. The processor is an AMD 5900X. Again, it's overpowered for what I'm doing, but I like doing offline multi-class racing, and so I wanted to have as big of a grid as possible, which is about 20 AI cars, and so I needed the 12-core, 24-thread processor. This stays about this quiet with all the fans. I used to have I'm a big Fractal case fan. I love their designs, mechanical designs, not aesthetic designs, but mechanical designs. I love their designs. And my last Fractal case lasted for 12 years, and the only reason I replaced it was because I needed more cooling, because the graphics card pulls 400 watts and the CPU pulls 200 watts, and just having 2 intake fans wasn't enough. So I got this Torrent and love it. So that's the video. If you have any questions, put them in the description and I'll answer them as I get them. It's very purpose. Oh, let's talk about clothing and that kind of stuff. This is a American football, NFL receivers gloves. You ever see the receivers and football players they play football and they have the really sticky gloves? That's what this is. And they're white, so I can see when they get slightly dirty and I can clean them. That's why they're white. It's my wife always laughs because when she sees me wearing them, it's really diva. But and then I cut off the fingertips so I can feel the encoders and the buttons because I'm playing blind. And then I race in real life, not on tracks, but autocross. But your classic Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star shoes, I get these out of it from outlets, and I think this cost me like $10. But what I love about these is the sole is super thin, so I can feel the brake pedal better. I feel everything. The actual grip is It's kind of like a 100 tread wear tire. It basically wears away because it's so grippy. It's no special thing. It's just, you can see how worn away these things are. It's because they're soft and grippy. And they're light. They're so light. I mean, if you want even lighter, you can get the low ones. But that, when you're driving for a few hours, you basically moving your feet all the time, you want a light shoe. These things are awesome. And they're cheap. You don't need anything better. And let's see here. I can't think of anything else. It just performs. It's a function over fashion. It looks the way it looks because that's what it needed to be. And if you, I think there's like between 200 and 300 screws and nuts, and I think it's about 200. But anyways, and I think I used about 30 feet of aluminum profile. I know I had 2 sticks of 10 feet and I had to buy a third. So I have some extras, but not much. But it's a lot of aluminum profile, but again, it's just one type, and I bought a nice cutting blade and I use a saw and cut it up my own. And so you can see, but cutting your own aluminum profile can be factory grade. You know, it's not anything special. Let's see how close this can focus. See, I mean, it looks just like factory. It's clean. But, and if you want to know the blade I got, I can ask me in the comments, and I'll look it up. But that's that. Have a great day. Enjoy your racing. Bye-bye.